Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a review of the Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure of Batman from Batman Returns. And the packaging says BRBM, which means Batman Returns Bowel Movement. It's been a while since I've done a proper 6 scale figure review. I mean, I like action figure reviews and reviewing pops and stuff, don't get me wrong. But it's nice to get a nice new figure for reviewing that's 6 scale. It's what I started this channel for, and it's nice to kind of return to what I started. Here's the look at the back of the packaging with the grayed out bat symbol. I like that they went with the snow motif, and there's a little gloss over the bat symbol. So here's the figure out of the package. You still have to remove the little backing behind the belt and the boots, which I'm going to do now. And then you have to attach the cape. Now I like that there is a little joint inside the boot, because that does give you a little bit of articulation. Even within, a boot such as this, there is some softness to it. To attach the cape, you just pull the cowl off, and then there's this cape with a little Velcro around it. You just sort of line up over the area, and then just place the cowl back over and make sure that the line here and the line here lines up to the points on the cowl. Before I cover up the body with the cape, though, I want to give you guys a closer look at the details within the body. The belt itself is really well sculpted. There's a lot of details to the bat suit that Hot Toys has done a perfect job of capturing, like the little bat symbol sculpted into his boots there. The boots themselves are very well sculpted, as are the bottom shoe part. And then just the general lines of the bat suit along the leg, around the knee area, the little rubbery bunching there behind the knee. And then you get to the chest, which always had kind of a RoboCop armor look to me, but it is made of a rubbery kind of material. You can feel kind of a spongy, foamy body underneath. But man, that belt looks great. And then you get to the gloves themselves, and just the way it wrinkles here, and then the points of the little fins look good. I like the little detail of the gloves, the little ribbed texturing there. Now the articulation on this is a little interesting, and that it's kind of limiting, but also appropriate because the Tim Burton Batmans couldn't really move that much. But you can't get too much of a range of motion with his legs, or you're gonna rip the rubber crotch of this thing. But he never really squatted in some badass Iron Man type poses in the film, so it's kind of appropriate. Same thing with his arms. I mean, there's a decent range of motion when you lift them up and down, but when you start to move them, it starts to kind of pinch there, and you don't really want that kind of pinch. But you still can get his arms in some good poses with these little rubber pinches. I just don't recommend leaving them in that pose for a long time. Show off to your friends or take some photos, but I wouldn't leave them like that for days and days and weeks and months. Not really a good idea. The Tim Burton Batman didn't really have a good range of motion in the head cowl area, and neither does this figure. Just like Michael Keaton in that film, he can't turn his head left and right, he has to turn his whole body. But the actual cowl itself is fantastic. I'm just going to go on record and let you guys know that I think the Batman Returns cowl is my favorite cowl of all the Batman films. I think it had the cleanest sculpt. The original one had a little more bulbousness on the sides. This one was a little bit tighter to the head. It had great ears. I loved the sculpt of the brow. It's the cleanest, coolest looking cowl. That's why I'm so happy that Hot Toys finally made this figure. Now, there's some really cool little details to this, like he does have the eyeball rolling system. But I mean, if you take a closer look here at his eyes, I mean, the fact that they actually did the little kind of gray paint around the eye skin area, and it reads like skin and still reads like paint, just awesome. And the Michael Keaton mouth is fantastic. Now there are little things you could do with this to change out elements. So I'll show you the back, where you can pop off the back of his head like so, and inside there are the the purse system, the parallel eyeball rolling system. And there's the little knobs for it, which is great. I think there's a huge improvement over the old DX ones where there's like one knob connecting the two knobs, because if that knob ever broke, you were screwed. The figure includes this little control wand, so you just use the plunger end on the eyeball rolling system nub, and they use that to move the eyeball around, and use the short end to unplug the mouth piece. So here's me moving around his right eyeball all over the place, so you get the idea how the effect works, even though he looks all googly-eyed and weird. And I'll pop out his mouthpiece, I hope. Well, I'm pushing on it, and I can feel the top coming out. There we go. Aside from the stick wand, the figure comes with lots of accessories, including 4 alternate left hands, some meant for gripping various accessories, and you got this open palm one here, and this kind of partially open palm one here, and 3 right hands, including 2 of what I think are the same right hands. I don't know if that's a mispackaging or if there's a difference, and I just can't tell. Maybe I'm stupid, but these are the exact same hands to me. Now, it also comes with the additional pegs for the hands if you need them. And then you get all of these goodies. You get 2 alternate mouths for the cowl. They're very similar, but there is a slight difference, and I do like that. You know, this one, his lips are still kind of pointy. This one, he's a little bit more mid-speech, so his upper lip is more rounded. But the skin-like texture of them is really, really cool. You get his magic Gameboy Batarang, which is always a little favorite of mine, that was so easily defeated by a dog. It does fit quite nicely into this hand right here and looks pretty good. And I like the detail of the little screen, the little video game characters on it. You do also get his little line shooter, which is awesome. And I like that it fits into this left hand sculpted perfectly, and the thumb fits onto the button, which is really cool. Also, these little things come out, the little hooks. And you can plug in these little roped hooks. You just attach this to the open end of the line shooter. It's a cool detail. I'm glad Hot Toys included it. If you're a goob that wants to set that up for your display, awesome. Personally, I find that a bit cumbersome, and I don't know if I'd ever display it that way, but it's nice that they included that. It's awesome of them. Now, here is his grapple gun, which is, I think, just the same one as the previous Batman Hot Toys one, including the little magnet piece that attaches to the belt. It does come in 2 pieces, and I think it looks great. Lastly, we have all the little tiny things, including his little remote for the Batmobile, which fits into one of the hands here, like so. It's taking me a while to jam it in here. That's what he said. Actually, that's what she said. That's what they both said. Yeah, so the remote looks good in his hand. He also comes with the little remote detonator from the end of the film. What's cool is you can actually press the button. It's like spring-loaded and actually like comes right back out. It's really tiny and really impressive, and I dig that. And lastly, he comes with his little napalm goo bomb dispenser things. Little napalm cartridges. And comes with a big fancy base. This is like the DX base, even though the figure is not a DX. It's not credited as a DX, but it has a DX base with the light up. It takes like 3 AA batteries, I think, or AAA, I don't know. But yeah, I like that it includes the parallel eye rolling system and a DX base. It's not labeled as a DX. I think they might have been done with that line, but it's cool. I don't need the credit to just know this is cool. What I love about this, though, is that the bat symbol is sculpted in there, and then they painted the snow on. That first trailer for Batman Returns, where you see the snow blowing off the bat symbol, has stayed with me. It stayed with a lot of people. It's a great image. It's been used in the poster. So I love that they went with that for the base. You can just plug this into the top. I don't even know if I'm going to use the base because the figure stands so good on its own. Now I'm just going to plug this alternate mouth into his cowl area. It's a little weird because his eyeballs are so good. Like, they look so realistic, but then like part of his face is missing, so it kind of creeps me out. But yeah, that looks really good. Now I just want to show off to you guys the belt. Has a little magnetic thing in it, so you can just attach the little dingus right there, like so. Also, the remote has a magnet in it as well, so that attaches really easily. Also, I just want to show you guys that the grapple gun does fit really well into like a sculpted hand for it, because it does have a very particular shape but the gun does just sort of pop, bam, like right into that hand like so, and it looks awesome. Now, if you're a Batman fan, then you probably already know the differences between the two costumes, between the two films, but here's a comparison of the two figures anyway. You know, the original one had more like a rougher, rubbery kind of surface, which that figure did honor, but this one had a more smoother design to it, and I think they captured that great. You know, there was a difference between the bat symbols. You know, he has a more bulbous cowl. You know, this one has more lines going down the side of the legs. You know, it had smoother gloves. It didn't have that little pad on the side. But I will say, as far as Hot Toys goes, this cape is a massive improvement over this one. Like this one, you know, this one has not only reads more leathery, but it also just moves better. It doesn't feel as like cumbersome. This one had a little wireframe going down the bottom like edge of it, whereas this one has wires going down each of these like vertical lines going down the back. So if you wanted to like, you know, flare them out in a weird way, you could, like that, if you wanted to. In the end, I gotta say I'm pretty satisfied with this figure. Even though it has limited articulation, so did Michael Keaton in those films. But this is, like I said, my favorite Cowl, and I'm really happy that Hot Toys got it right. And I like the fact that it comes with lots of cool accessories. Now they just need to hurry up and do a Catwoman and a Penguin figure. But yeah, I like this figure. And by the way, this isn't actually my figure. Cosplayer and artist Tracie Cotta was nice enough to let me review her figure. So go ahead and follow her on Instagram and check her out on Facebook. And if you're interested, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. I'll throw up the links here at the end. Thanks for watching.